Hi, my name is Al Green. Not that one, but the struggling guy who was in the music industry for years trying to sell talent and songs to agents. The agents befriended me and taught me techniques that I want to pass on to you through my program, which is called You Can Talk, You Can Sell. Anyone who has ever taken this program has excelled in selling and either risen to the top of their company, their team, or the top of their field. It's called You Can Talk, You Can Sell, and you can get it right here. Imagine if you could climb to the top of your team and be one of the top salespeople, or your little company that you started could be a major player in the market that you're in. Or if it comes to selling a non-tangible, such as insurance or advertising, or services, or software, and you found ways to close those sales so that your in-person appointments become more like in-person order taking, and it's the easiest thing you've ever done. One of the ways that we do this is through the six-figure selling system, using a special framework that is to be announced when you take our free webinar. But what most companies do when they hire salespeople, they need the salespeople. They need to have them out working the fields. They need one-on-one contact because they can snag those sales that the internet doesn't get, that the advertisements don't get, and that the telemarketers can't always get. I've seen it happen for years in a lot of different companies. If you were at all trained, chances are there's a lot of the training in this program that you haven't seen before. Most of the companies, they bring a person in, they give them the minimal amount of training, and then they turn them out into the world to talk to new customers as if they're a canary in a coal mine, waiting to see if they're going to drop. One of the greatest things that I love that was used is that basically the strongest steel is forged from the hottest fire. Now, that could be true in many cases, but I'm not asking you to suffer because you're probably already struggling. And we don't suffer here. What we do is we use an organic process, which is letting you be yourself and use your own capabilities instead of anyone telling you how to do anything. It's completely your call. And that's one of the coolest things. Because after all, if you can talk, you're a person that can communicate. You can communicate, and part of the whole business purpose is communication. Communication to get people to spend money with you. And it's not even about the money as much as it is about what kind of a relationship are you building with those people. What kind of presentation are you giving them? What impression do you leave them with? It's not about anything other than the fact that you're the representative, and everything that you do is the key pivotal strategy that could get your customer or your prospect to make a decision, take more interest, and listen to you. Most sales trainings run through formula. I've got books and books and books. Don't get me wrong, they're great books. Some of them are terrific. But some of them read like manuals, like somebody's written a huge, thick math book with all kinds of formulas and techniques based on explanation after explanation. We're going to simplify this. It's going to be so simple. It would be like just listening, just paying attention and gleaning everything that works for you, because you're the person that's going to be training yourself technically. And I'm sure you would much rather be the boss of yourself than have somebody else hanging over you. A lot of people are stressed out because of the fact that they are not being treated like they are in charge of their own destiny, when in reality, that's the case. The case is you are in charge of your own destiny. But the coolest thing is that you are in charge of your own destiny. After all the years that I put into sales, I learned years ago through hook by crook and making plenty of mistakes. I probably had more failures and mistakes than anybody you know. But at the same time, I learned from them. And then I one day had an epiphany and everything came clear and I figured it out. And that's what we're going to do. You and I are going to get together and I'm going to pass on to you so that you have an epiphany of your own and it clicks. And what you're going to see is something that's going to propel you so you can start into that higher income business in the next 30 days. The workshop is going to take you from a point of where you're at now, and it's going to leave you at a point where you are so much higher than you are now. If you're already a top salesperson or you're a veteran salesperson that's been at it for decades, there's always plenty to learn, because one of the things I can tell you is that what I've seen in all of the successful salespeople that I've worked with and interviewed, they never stop learning. They're always willing to absorb more. But what is it they absorb? If it's a lot of the same formula over and over, people get bored. If you keep beating people over the head with the same information, they get seriously bored. And we don't want to do that. What you and I want to do is form a relationship so that you know everything that I'm bringing to you is something that you can use on your own in your own way. Not in a way that I tell you how to do it. That's a little bit different. It's off the beaten path because I'll take you outside of the circle of some of the rules. Not breaking rules, but just things that are not normally mentioned. So how cool is it that you have a position in life where you get to talk for a living? How cool is it that you have a job where based on your talking, you can produce results that pays you 6 figures or more? Most salespeople are brought in and offered a 5-figure job plus commission, and they rarely hit the 6-figure mark. But once you get to the 6-figure, then you can move to the 7-figure. And yes, there are people making millions in a year who never thought they would be making anything. And I'm not talking about the billionaires, because that isn't this kind of a program. The whole idea is to get you to step up so you can do more for your family. You can buy that house you want, buy the cars you want, provide for your kids, provide for your wife, provide for yourself, or maybe other relatives. But what it's all about is learning how to be yourself and work organically with what you know based on who you are, because you know yourself better and nobody can do you better than you. So basically, that's a very simple thing. It's just the coolest thing. I found out years ago that being in sales was the most awesome thing because I took it out of sales and used it in all of my personal goals. I had a lot of personal goals I wanted to achieve, and I used the sales tools that I learned to achieve those goals. And when they came true, it was like, how cool is this? I actually accomplished something. You can too. I'm not going to tell you I am the most knowledgeable person on the planet. But you are definitely more knowledgeable about you than I am about you, or any sales trainer or any boss. Nobody knows you better than you. So what we want to do is we want to expound on that. And we don't want you to be a canary in a coal mine. We don't want you to go through the fire so hot that you're suffering and struggling. Let's quit the struggling right now. Let's stop it. Let's move on with it and get into a better part of life where you are now the boss of your own destiny and you can produce the kind of income that you want to using your own principles. Everybody's trying to teach their principles. Well, how about taking advantage of what you already have as your talent and expanding it? That's not really teaching you new principles. That's just showing you how to make the most out of what you got. As I learned years ago, the best hand to play is usually the hand you're dealt. Now, if you're strategic, you can use that hand to do more with it. But in life, we are all here to do as best as we can, and you are going to be able to do that. My program will be coming up very soon. It's called the 6-Figure Selling System, and I'm going to cover a lot of ways to step outside of the box and think differently so that you too can be a top salesperson or promote your own business as an entrepreneur and be one of the top people to bring in the customers over your competition. If you're already in a sales job or you're an old salesperson like me, doing it for decades, you will find that there are tools that you can still use that will propel you and get you on a higher level. There's plenty of people out there who make 6 figures and they make a high six figures. Do you know if you make $900,000 a year, you're in the six-figure business? So it doesn't necessarily mean you only hit that first level. We want to take you to the higher level, and you and I are going to do it together. We're going to work together, so I want you to join me in my workshop, the six-figure selling system, and the details will be forthcoming to you. Stay tuned. I will talk to you then. If you have any questions, feel free to put in a note, and in the bottom, send me your email, and I will contact you directly. Until then, I will be talking to you good selling, and go out there and be pleasant, have a great time, and enjoy your work.